Are we live yet?
I believe that we
Better be
are live. Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing tonight?
Killing it. It's a good day.
Wow, it is. So I want to introduce my wonderful panel. I brought back Melissa B. Say hello to everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Somebody needs to mute their YouTube.
Mine's muted.
Okay. And then I brought back Christy. Melissa and Christy were on with me the other night.
Hello.
And we added a little bit of DWAP to the mix tonight. Welcome, DWAP.
She let me out of the house, so I get to come out and play with Jay tonight.
He's on his best behavior. So welcome, you guys. Thanks for coming on. And I want to give Melissa some props for also setting up this interview. Melissa, you've done wonderful, like reaching out to these friends and talking to them. And you know, obviously they trust you, so they're willing to come on the show.
No problem. I mean, I honestly didn't think I would get anyone to talk.
Well,
but
you've surprised yourself then.
People person.
Well, I think you've done a great job, and I want to thank you for that. And Christy, I also want to thank you for all of your help as well. You guys have really, I mean, you've been in the Heidi group, you've been keeping up on it when I couldn't, you know, you and all the rest of the moderators in here and in that group. But you guys have been super busy and carrying on with your normal lives, and it's Christmas week. So I want to thank you guys.
Well, thank you. You've done so much work, and I know your phone has been ringing off the hook, and life is going at warp speed right now for you. So
I didn't expect any of this. Like, I could not have ever been prepared for this. And I honestly, I don't feel prepared, but I'm just doing what I normally do. And that's just what I'm going to do. So, our guest tonight is a close friend of Magen Fieramusca.
I didn't even get to thank you. What? Thank you. I didn't even get to thank you for being here tonight.
Oh,
man.
Sorry, DWAP. Thank you for being here and being my friend.
You got the important people. Don't worry.
Yeah, you know, no. I'm interrupting her guest introduction, so she's gonna yell at me. But geez,
no.
Man.
So Dad with a phone is another creator. And I've worked closely with him since I think it's January. It's been almost a year.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
It has been almost a year.
It feels like 10 years almost, though. I mean, like going.
A lot has happened.
Well, anything like doing these cases just make it to stack up quickly. So
it sure does. It sure does. And you had a long year following the Kelsey Barrett case, and that's been crazy. And we're not done with that one yet. So
no, and this thing came, and it was such a, you know, at first it was similar, just a mom, and that's how the Kelsey Barrett case started, was a missing mom, and this started as a missing mom out of Austin, and so
when this first broke, I know that it hit the media, it hit the YouTube community, the online community, I should say. It hit Facebook and YouTube hard. And I think it was because of maybe the similarities that could have been like the Watts case. That's my take on it, why everyone clung onto it so quickly in the beginning. What do you guys think? Why do you think YouTube and Facebook picked up on this case so quickly before we even knew about a friend that abducted a baby? You know, just when the mother and baby were missing, what do you think captivated the public?
I think it was the interview with Shane, how there was some similarities with Chris Watts' interview and his.
You know, I think there was, definitely listen, it's never going back. Chris Watts probably started it. There's probably cases before Chris Watts that kind of started the way things are moving through the internet, but we're never going backwards anymore. And if just a few content creators, a few YouTubers, a few podcasters, true crime people pick up on a case, it's exploding now. It's not going to, and like you said, there's people texting us as this one's starting to look into their case. And then when a dad put a plea out there, I mean, he was the first one to plead. He called the cops and he pled for information, and he looked you did a video. The family looked like the Watts family as far as demographic and just kind of the
Yeah, kind of
happy-go
reminded
family.
me of that a little bit. Yeah.
And
I mean, I
so,
think every time you get a mom, and especially with young children or baby, you're gonna get a huge interest, a huge draw. There is what I've noticed. The more you have kids involved,
and for 7 days, we didn't know she vanished, you know?
no.
And so, um, it's wildfire.
Thank you,
It's
everyone, for all of the super chats. Say that.
What's sick is that all the people picked it up. The whole community, the whole crime community picked it up online, and it's been cool to see different aspects of it. So it's been fun for me to watch and be a part of, and then to, hear stuff come together quickly.
Yeah, I just got off the phone before we went live with a reporter from the Houston Chronicle. And, it's just, they all are just astounded at how the reaction was caught on a live stream like that. I don't think that's something that we've ever really heard. I mean, has that ever really happened? You know what I'm saying? Like someone finds
I
out.
lost it. Yeah.
Jay, you're cutting out, Jay.
You stuttered for a second, but you're
Oh,
good.
am I okay now?
That's all right. Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
We got to talk to them internet folks. Get you a fiber line in there.
Yeah, I gotta get a Ethernet cord. This Wi-Fi is not cutting it, but I hope that everyone can hear me okay now.
Oh, you're great. You're
Okay.
golden.
So
You're
what I
golden.
was saying was just that I don't even remember what I was saying.
Oh, you were saying that the media. You're talking to the media guy, and he's like,
oh yeah, they're just
captured
also
on that live stream.
astounded at that live stream. It had the reaction of her girlfriend, as it was happening, and like I said, I don't think that's ever happened before. I don't think we've ever seen that happen that we know of.
Well, that kind of information. Because the thing is those cops have always kept that information tight, close to the case. See what happens, because it might come right back in right here. YouTube sometimes picks it up, says, if not, I could do a StreamYard and send out that link from your thing, Oh, something's in. We're live, right?
I think so. Yes.
Somebody's YouTube is online. Perfect. We're good to go. We're good. Hurricanes. And the children are walking in. Jay, you're live in there, girl. You know
Talking
what?
about the black SUV.
Oh, I'm back. Okay, I was
that it?
muted. So sorry about that, you guys. I had a flicker. We've got a lot of lightning down here in Florida, and my lights flickered, and my internet rebooted, and it's just perfect timing. But that's the loveliness of being live.
That happened on.
Someone is asking if your mic is muted. Jay.
It was. I'm good now. It's just a delay.
Yeah. That's what happened on the last one too. So, and it was a great show. So y'all better stick around, because who knows what's going to happen on this one.
Yeah. If people are buffering, tell them in chat if they're buffering, they need to just exit and come back, and we should be good to go.
Yeah, I'm looking on the big screen. You look good.
Oh, well, thank you, D-Wop.
Up in HD.
Sound is perfect. Everything's good right now. Let's roll while we're good. Okay, so back to our special guest, the friend of Megan. And I think I might have spelled her name wrong. I'm not sure if it's Meghen or M.
It's Magen.
Oh, it's Magen. Okay.
Yes.
Correct.
So I did spell it wrong. So for all you media out there watching, her name is Magen. Just kidding. So, Melissa, why don't you tell us a little bit about our guest and how you came to find him and the friendship that has ensued since?
I actually found him on one of the Heidi groups. I had reached out to him and asked him if he was willing to do an interview. And he told me that he was. He told me just a little bit about their relationship. He said she's been, I think, yeah, he's friends with Megan and Chris. He hasn't really talked to him since like 2017.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I don't know if they grew up together, but he said from 2017 to before, he knows a lot about her.
Very cool.
And he did meet Heidi like once or twice, he said. And he said he'll come on an interview and
so he's running a little late.
questions.
Yeah, he's running a little late. He's traveling today from his home where he lives to Houston for the holidays. So he got hung up a little bit with his travels. So he will be joining us very soon, probably in the next 10, 15 minutes or so.
Yeah, about 10 minutes.
So yeah, so let's just tell us a little bit about the friendship that has ensued with you and our guest.
We're just, I mean, you know,
he's cool and he's easy to talk to.
Yes, very easy to talk to. He's willing to answer anything that he can. He's a very nice guy, actually.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I can't wait.
He actually doesn't know. He hasn't been watching any interviews. Doesn't really know much going on. He hasn't been in the social media really. So I told him a few things and he's like, oh, wow, this is crazy. I didn't know a lot of this stuff. But
wow.
He's willing to talk about Megan and her background. And
so he's pretty open to talk. We all kind of agreed when DWAP said, you know, Megan did not become this way overnight. Like there had to be signs that this girl, there was something wrong, I would think.
Right.
Unless she snapped. We don't know if she was pregnant and lost a baby.
Well, yeah, I asked him that.
Uh-huh. Well, let's wait for him. Let's wait for him.
We can wait, but we could even, while we're waiting, let's recap what we do know about Megan.
Yes,
and what
absolutely.
Kind of figured out, you know, from y'all's live the other night, it was Megan. And then we found out, and news has been breaking, Megan has been trying to insert herself in this investigation since it started. She's been reaching out to people who have been involved in this, and even probably to the point where she said, yeah, I was texting with her, you know, about breastfeeding or whatever, earlier that morning or whatever, the day before, whatever was that came out, you know, during all that.
Yeah, so
how long has she been planning?
Yeah, we do know that she tried to sell a crib. Megan tried to sell a crib back in January. We're not sure if that was real, if that was fabricated, or if that was really a crib she was trying to sell. She could have lost a baby and was getting rid of the stuff. I mean, a girlfriend of mine actually lost a baby, and she ended up, you know, probably within a year, she sold the stuff the same on Facebook Marketplace. You know, what do you do? What do you do? So if that's the case, she could have snapped. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that this girl was cray her whole life. Because people do have things that happen to them that make them, you know, do something that would be out of character for them. Don't you think, Christy?
What was that term you used earlier?
Yes. For me, go ahead.
I want to know that term you used earlier, Jay. Like when you were asking about the insane thing, there was a case back in the 90s where a lady got postpartum.
Oh, that was the Andrea Gates. Mm-hmm.
What was her diagnosis?
Postpartum psychosis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Think about that.
And it's real. It's real.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's what I think,
you know,
for her.
It could have gone, you know, we don't know. All we can do is hypothesize at this moment, but you know, as I heard something that made me think, you know, well, maybe what if she was posting this crib for sale, you know, as bait, and she didn't really have a crib.
Mm-hmm. We saw that happen, Christy, in Chicago.
Right. You know, and then, you know, your guest the other night, Caressa, her friend, mentioned something that, you know, made me think. She said that the minute that Heidi told Megan that she was pregnant, immediately Megan said, oh yeah, me too. And the fact that she listed her due date on her registry as the same due date as Megan, this to me, I get the feeling this was much more pre-planned. That's my take. But we don't know.
In other words, you're not thinking this is just she got over there with no ill intention and then snapped, or they got into a fight and this happened just weirdly, and then she ends up with the baby. She was going. She was going after the baby, is what you're saying, or just you're thinking. What were the signs laid out? My only thing is with this is that 7 days goes by, and she nothing with Heidi. And so it didn't seem.
Well, but I did see just earlier today that somebody said that this happened while Chris Green was out of town. And she had convinced him that she was having a baby. And supposedly she had this baby while he was out of town, which is, convenient for her because she must have known he was leaving for work or something. Who knows? And so, it was the excuse of, why she didn't say like, oh yeah, come to the hospital with me.
It could all. It also plays very well with the fact that they haven't arrested him, detained him. He must have had a very good alibi. He might have been at a convention, or at a meeting, whatever he was at doing, but somebody saw him somewhere else, nowhere near there. And that's why he wasn't taken into custody.
Right. I mean, you guys, you say that, and I think about Chris, and I think, how innocent he must be in all of this, thinking that she really, had a baby. But what about the whole 9 months of the pregnancy? What about ultrasounds?
Yep.
What about checkups, heartbeats, things like that? Like what happened with that? That's what I want to know.
Hashtag internet, get you a free ultrasound online. Hashtag get you a video.
There are websites that you can buy ultrasound pictures for every single month, right?
Yeah,
for every 4 weeks, 6. Yeah, you can type your name in and it looks totally legit. That is insane to me.
Y'all are buying me a baby bump because this is what you guys think.
Because I believe, and I'm going to go out on a limb here since we have a few minutes to kind of speculate, but I feel like she got to a point where she actually may have worn a baby bump, because when she was in the delivery room with Heidi, we found out from Carissa the other day that Heidi said that was the first time she had seen Megan pregnant. So that tells me she visibly looked pregnant.
And if you look at her picture or video that we saw of her in the courtroom when she was first arrested for those traffic tickets, she had on this huge baggy sweatshirt.
Yes, she had that red hoodie.
She looks like one of these people that it's kind of ambiguous whether or not they're pregnant. You're not even sure that they are pregnant.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And if she doubled up her clothes, layered up those hoodies.
But everybody was screaming Crystal Lee Kinney was pregnant, and they're about, they're the same body type.
Yeah, build, there's some women you can't tell.
You just can't tell.
And I mean, from the 2018 mugshot to the one now, she did gain some weight. So maybe she purposely gained weight.
I think that 2001, she was looking really hollow-eyed.
Yeah, but she was a lot skinnier in the 2018 one than the one she took now. So she could have possibly gained weight on purpose.
Have we seen any recent photos with her and Heidi? Because the ones I've seen look like they're closer to the 2018 picture than they are.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Melissa, didn't Carissa say that they hadn't seen each other? They were just communicating about the pregnancy?
Yes. I don't think they have. Yeah, because they were like 2 hours away from each other.
Yeah.
Okay. They've said that there's pictures of her with the baby with Margot when she was born, because she was there, but I don't think those pictures have been
I haven't
put
seen
out
those
anywhere.
surface either.
Gotcha.
I did see a picture of Shane today holding Margot in the delivery room. I did see that.
Yeah.
And the mother put out a statement. If y'all haven't read that, I put that up. But the mother did put out a statement and said, we are focusing on being with the family, with Heidi's sons, and around the holidays they're trying, but she did put out a statement. It's out online. It was the first statement they put out. It came out, I don't know, 6 o'clock or something my time, and it was just a written statement. It wasn't a video or anything like that. It was just literally a short little paragraph. So, and then there's a lot of internet rumors flying around everywhere.
Mhm.
But it's hard. It is hard because we're trying to talk to friends and get that, but even this guy's not going to have info about the case. He's going to have info about Megan,
He
and
can
the
shed some
background
light into
on
who
her.
Megan is. Yeah, I mean, we all want to know
Absolutely.
who is this girl and how could she do this to her best friend? What
Yeah.
makes a friend kill another friend and take their baby?
So,
It's
Jay, I
insane.
don't know. I didn't even ask you about this. Have you been or have y'all been communicating with Carissa since the interview at all?
Melissa
Yes,
has.
I have.
Okay. And
Mhm.
how is she doing? How are things?
I mean,
it's
she's,
gotta be
she's
crazy.
heartbroken. She
She's
told me
probably
today was
just
a
in
bad
shock.
day. She's honestly sick of all the hate on Facebook, the trolls.
Oh,
She told me all she wants to do is just hear her friend's voice again and hold her.
That's hard. I can't even imagine being in her shoes. And
She's got to be in utter shock. She's just got to be in shock.
And she was so strong when we were talking to her. I mean, imagine being in her shoes and going through that entire whirlwind of emotions while we were live. Is just, you go from one end of the spectrum to the other in what you're feeling in minutes.
Because before she joined our live, she didn't suspect anything from Megan.
she'd been talking
Right.
to her all week. That
Talking
was
to her
Right.
And she
5,
also
6
wondered where
times a
she
day.
got her phone number from too. So I'm thinking since Megan had Heidi's number, she probably got
She had Heidi's phone, so she probably got it out of her contacts.
right. Yes.
Yeah, I
Right.
remember her saying that in the beginning. She's like, I've been talking to Megan 5, 6 times a day, every day, and I still am not sure how she got my number. It was all these things she said before we figured it out that are so eerie. The hearing
Right.
of the baby in the
That she was
background.
talking about Megan.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and she was actually
had that not unfolded, you probably would have been on the phone with Megan the next day. The way that was rolling, because she would have put you in contact. She'd been like, "Yeah, you need to contact Megan."
right.
That would have been the next interview. It would have been well, let's talk to this Megan if she's talking to everybody else.
It's interesting that she never suspected anything, though. She never suspected anything from Megan. She didn't come on the show thinking, this is odd. She said something weird. Everyone believed that she had this baby.
And even when we asked her,
yes,
even when we asked her, they used to live in Houston. Do they have any old friends from Houston? And she's like, no, I don't. She couldn't think of anybody. And then when they found the house, and she didn't even know at first until somebody said, I think they had to say the name the second time. They're like, wait a minute, what?
So
it didn't even click right away.
Mm-hmm.
I believe I've confirmed that the reason that they got to the house was the vehicle, because they saw her get in that vehicle. They have video of that, and they've been
I believe
searching
so too.
for 7 days.
Yeah,
and so they would all the rumors came from phone calls, CPS, this, that, and the other. None of those things. What took them to the house was the vehicle, and that's why they went there.
I thought it was a black SUV that was seen. She was getting into.
I've only heard
Megan has a silver Nissan.
I've heard
I hadn't heard about that.
I've heard it was the silver Nissan the whole time. Like, that was the first report. The reporters have put out. You can check the tweets. I might be wrong, but I've read a couple of tweets where they've just said law enforcement showed up at the house because of the vehicle, and because they ran the license plate. They've somehow got the license plate, whether it's
where
from
did
footage.
the black SUV come into play, Melissa?
I seen it on a post.
Yeah, there was a
somewhere
post
on
about
Facebook.
there was a black SUV found or
At
was
Target.
somewhere between Houston and Austin. Yeah, at some Target, but it, it I don't know. Maybe it went from there to there. Maybe they linked from the. But it would seem that what the focus of that day in that search was the vehicle, and then you know, so maybe the black SUV has something to do with where
I
the
think it belongs to Chris Green, the black SUV.
crime. Well, maybe that's how they were trying to link. Maybe they found the black SUV after they found and located her car at the same time, because that they definitely went. They didn't go to the black SUV, or we would have had drone shots over the SUV and all that stuff. They went to that house.
Someone
for
said
that.
Chris Green
Yeah.
drives a black SUV. So maybe
If
she was
Chris
using
was out
his
of
vehicle.
town.
Right.
Yeah, she might have used it and did a swappy swap.
Yeah.
But we do know from Carissa that the authorities were searching through hours and hours, she said, of footage, of surveillance footage.
Yeah.
Right.
But I do also know it was reported that neighbors also cued authorities in. When they went door to door, they saw whatever they saw, they told the authorities, because it was reported before this raid that neighbors helped, or neighbors, this was the exact wording, neighbors gave clues to law enforcement that let them know what happened that day. So that tells me there were neighbors out that saw her with Megan.
It's also why she hasn't been charged. She hasn't been charged
Oh,
with murder,
right,
because Megan or Heidi would have willingly got into the vehicle.
right.
And
Well,
so
it
I
looks
think-
like our guest has joined us. I'm so excited.
Oh, nice.
Hi, Jake. Oh, we can't hear you,
Listen,
Jake.
I'm out.
We can't hear you.
He might be muted.
He doesn't look like he's muted.
Or he might need to
he
add
has-
his audio.
He has to
That's what I
join
had
with.
done
He
earlier.
might be. Yeah, he might still be adding audio.
Hello, I'm here.
Hi, Jake.
There we go.
Hello.
Hi,
I'm-
Jake.
I'm Jay with Jay is for Justice. How are you? Look at you.
Hello. I'm good.
It's
I'm,
nice to talk to you.
Yes, it is. I'm still adjusting. I just got off a plane like 3 hours ago, and I just ate, so I'm finally just calming down now.
Jake, I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy travel day, the week of a holiday, to come on here and talk to us tonight. So I want to introduce the rest of the panel to you real quick before we get started. I know you know
Okay.
Melissa. You two have met. And we have Christy, and she helps me out with my podcast.
Hey, Jake.
And then we have Dad with a phone up there. He is another YouTube creator that follows true crime as well.
Okay, perfect.
So
Good to meet
welcome,
you, Jake.
Jake.
Glad you did this.
So we
It's
have
very
about
nerve-wracking.
yeah, I was just gonna say we have a lot of people watching. I know it makes you nervous, but it's cool. It's just like we're on the phone talking, so no big deal. So you are, would you consider yourself still a friend of Megan, or are you like just a past friend that got out of touch?
So, I used to live here in Houston. I moved early 2017 up north for a job. But when I lived here, we were very close. When I moved, we just kind of lost touch.
Mhm.
Maybe the little conversations here and there, but really nothing too in detail or anything. So I definitely know a lot more about her before all of this. Like
Right.
anything recent, maybe in the last year, 2 years, 2.5 years, I really don't know anything about. But anything before that, I definitely do. I used to hang out with her all the time.
So when did you first meet Megan?
So she was actually a coworker. We used to work at a payday loan place together. She was a store manager at one of the stores, and I was one at a different one. So we just met through work normally, and then we just got close. It's just kind of like the
Right.
hey, maybe we should do something after work sometime. Just like, yeah,
Right.
sure.
Like you
We
kind
could
of hit
always
it
use
off.
friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then, from there, really, it was just, we ended up hanging out 3-4 times a week. The house that they raided, I've been to many times. And
Wow. So
yeah,
whose
so
house
seeing
is
that
that?
was
Is
very
that,
weird.
I bet it was. Is that Chris Green's house then?
Yes, it was Chris's house. Megan previously had a condo. I forget where, it was somewhere else. But once they had gotten together, I know that she had eventually just kind of started living there, I guess. I know before I moved, she didn't technically live there, but I know she spent a lot of time there.
Mm-hmm.
So I would assume she probably ended up moving in there.
So you've met Chris then, I take it, if you've been to his house.
Yes, I met Chris a couple of times because they really only got together, and that's another thing. They were together, so I don't, to squash those rumors. Like I know for sure that they were together.
They were a
So
couple.
yes, they were a couple. And so I only met Chris a couple of times because they only had gotten together maybe a couple months before I moved. So
Gotcha.
I don't know Chris as much as I knew Megan or anyone else.
Mm-hmm. So did you hang out with them as a couple together?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, plenty of times. The couple of times I did meet Chris, it was oddly at the house. And then, for like just certain occasions, like my birthday, for example, or, just like Thanksgiving and Christmas. Also.
Gotcha. So when is the last time that you have spoke to Megan that you remember?
Last time I spoke to her was probably late 2017. So it's been a very long time.
Okay. So did you know her when she was married to the first husband?
I did not. I knew she was married. I don't know when exactly they had separated. I want to say it was probably even before I even knew who she was.
Oh, okay. So that was
I
already a
know,
done thing.
yeah. I know that Humphrey is her maiden name.
Yeah.
And Fear, I forget. I don't even know how to say it.
I know it's like Fieramusca.
That's her married name.
Okay.
Yeah, it's something like that. I knew
So
that's
she
her
must
married
still
name.
go by that name because that's the name she was booked under. Was the
I
Fieramusca?
guess so. I guess maybe legally she's still
maybe
that
she never
last
changed
name,
it.
but I don't know. Yeah, maybe. It's a possibility.
Interesting. Does anybody else have any questions they'd like to roll with? Christy?
Yeah, Jake, let me ask you, when you said you've known her for a number of years, you last spoke to her in 2017. About what year did you meet her? Like, how long was your friendship?
I met her, it was the summer of 2015. So I knew her, knew her for about 2.5, about 3 years before it was kind of broken off and didn't really talk.
Right. And did you know of her having other relationships or talking about wanting a baby or anything like that? Was that kind of an obsession of her or anything?
No, honestly, because that was one of the things that was really crazy about this, is because I know the whole entire time that I knew her, she never wanted kids, ever.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, never wanted kids, like, at all. And it's not that she hated kids or anything. She just didn't want kids of her own.
Mm-hmm.
She was very close with her niece and, her family, but she never wanted kids.
But she was like good with that. Like, I'm cool having nieces, but I don't want any kids of my own.
Well, could it have been maybe Chris wanted kids and she was trying to appease him to keep the relationship going?
Can you repeat that again? Sorry, my connection kind of went wonky.
Could it be that Chris wanted to have kids and she just wanted, to keep the relationship going? Because, I read online, of course, that Chris wanted her out of the house and she was telling him that she was pregnant and that's why he never kicked her out.
Oh, did we lose him? Did he freeze?
He's not frozen.
No.
I'm sorry, you guys are frozen on my end. My connection's kind of going.
Oh, it's kind. You caught up.
Okay, you're there.
Yeah.
Did you hear the question or no?
No, you didn't hear the question, Jay. We lost him. Oh, he's still freezing.
Yeah,
kinda
he's
going-
not frozen. I think just for us, like for him, we are frozen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's you guys. The connection on my end is
Mhm.
kind of wonky.
What'd you think when you heard this news? I mean, like she didn't turn this way overnight, or she didn't come up with this thing overnight, didn't just do this overnight. So, like, I mean, you spent time with her. You had, I assume you worked with her, you ate with her, you kind of saw her. You said you were at her house, at that house and stuff.
Yeah, what were
did
your
you
first
think?
thoughts? I don't think he can hear us.
I think he has bad service where he's at.
Just on his phone.
I'm sorry if you guys can hear me. You guys' audio is very sporadic.
So what did you think, Jake, when you found or heard this news and you're starting to see this now about what, I mean, you knew Megan.
I think he's trying to go somewhere where
Trying
he's
to
got
get-
a better signal. We'll give
I
him a
got you.
second.
So if you're just joining, Jake is a former co-worker with Megan. Have known her since 2000. What do you say? 2015 to 2017, and their relationship kind of not broke off, just location probably and different things, maybe different job or whatever. But so he just kind of gives some background on how he knew her. He spent some time with her. He's been at Chris's
There he
house.
Okay, guys, sorry.
There he
about
is. He's back.
We're gonna call you Jake with the phone.
that. Yeah,
Or mobile.
sorry, the internet connection here is kind of wonky.
That's okay. Thanks,
Hope
Jake.
it's not too cold out there.
No, it's not.
We just kind of recap. People come in and out of these chats, so I just kind of recap through your background and how you've met her. I wondered though, when you heard this news come out and you put the dots together and you connected them, saw it on Facebook. However, how did you find out about Megan being involved in this? So what was your first initial? How'd you get that? Was that on social media? Was it news? Where was it?
Yeah, it was on Facebook, and I only found out on Friday. So I'm only 2 days into finding out everything. I was actually just on lunch break at work, and one of my friends from high school, who doesn't even live here in Texas because I went to high school in Pennsylvania, she shared an article, and I was just scrolling through Facebook, and I saw her face with Heidi, and I was like, oh, that's kind of odd. So I read the whole post that she had shared, and I was just in such shock. I didn't really know how to respond at first because I thought maybe it was just fake. I was like, I don't like, because knowing her, I was like, I don't think she could ever do something like that. And then I was talking to my high school friend who shared it, and she said there was this whole group about it and shared an article with me from a news station. And so I joined this group, and just ever since then, and just reading everyone's comments and all the new information coming available, I'm just still in such shock, and
I bet. I can't imagine.
devastated, and just having so many good memories with her, and then all of this coming to light, I kind of don't even really know how to feel anymore,
Yeah.
because I don't want to believe it, but I know it's true, and I know it's the most tragic thing that anyone can endure. So I'm just devastated.
I bet you're in total shock that a friend of yours could be capable of that.
Yeah, and it's honestly a little bit scary because you never really know.
It is
Anybody.
scary. It makes you
know?
rethink your friendships. Like, did I miss something? Was there something odd?
Mhm.
But you probably didn't notice anything odd.
No, because the whole time that I hung out with her and everything, she was always the most happiest, go lucky, just living life to the fullest type of person. And she was never like, she was always willing to lend a hand for help.
Hmm.
She was always there for everybody and always went above and beyond for everybody. So it's just completely shocking.
It's
I bet.
crazy.
I
because
have a
that's-
question for you
Oh.
though, about that. So I noticed in her photos that her appearance has changed. Okay. So in that mugshot, that doesn't even look like the same person from the previous mugshot. So it looks like she's a totally different person. Did you feel that way when you saw her mugshot?
Yes, definitely. Because the first mugshot that I saw was her previous one.
Mm-hmm.
So when the new mugshot came out, I was like, wow, like I can definitely tell she definitely gained a lot of weight in the face. And her hair was kind of thinning up here. And
Yeah, was her hair thinning before when you knew her? No.
I think but I look at those blonde pictures that she has, and I think her hair, it's longer, but it still shows real stuff.
It's a little thin,
fine hair.
but she
Yeah.
clearly had like a comb over going on
But it
in
looked
that
like two
recent
different people.
mugshot. I mean, it was,
Yeah.
you could see bald spots. So, you know, I know a lot of people have speculated about perhaps drug use, but her current mugshot doesn't look to me like someone said something specifically about meth. And her current mugshot does not scream a meth addict to me. They usually don't
not
gain
to me
weight.
either.
Yeah.
Did
She,
you?
if she was on meth, I would definitely think she would be bare bones, just skin and bones, not,
Her
I don't
skin
know.
looked fine. I mean,
Yeah.
she didn't look like that to me. However, back in the old mugshot, she does look very thin and kind of gaunt. So was there past drug use with Megan that you're aware of?
I'm aware. She was a heavy marijuana smoker, that I know for sure. And I do know, since that mugshot was from about mid 2018, I think it was, I know that she was getting heavily into cocaine use. So that kind of makes sense with the first mugshot because her eyes are very wide and she looks
her
very
eyes are wide open.
alert. Yeah, so that I can definitely understand if it's cocaine use, but for the newest mugshot, I don't know.
I don't either. That doesn't scream drugs to me, though.
Hey Jay, did you see her get arrested back then? Did you know her? Did you communicate with her when she got in trouble and got that first mugshot?
No, that was mid 2018, and
so
the last time I spoke with her was late 2017.
That was after.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know, D-Wop, if you had heard Carissa explained that arrest where it was she had to get a birthday present for somebody, a family member that
I
was
think
bugging
that was Heidi.
No, you're
that was Heidi.
She was explaining
Yes.
Heidi's arrest. No, she was I was talking about Megan's situation.
What was Megan's prior arrest?
She had a felony theft, $2,500 or $2,400. And then I heard a little bit about the Heidi deal. But I didn't know if they were connected at that first time.
That brings me to my next question, Jake. And there's been a lot of speculation about whether or not Megan's family or Megan herself had a lot of money. It's been speculated that they do.
That I am definitely not sure of.
You never been to like the family home, where she grew up or anything like that?
No. I definitely know she's a part of a very, very large family. I know she has
one of 10, I think.
I always thought it was maybe 5 or 6, but I saw in one of the groups that I'm in that she has maybe at least 15 other siblings. So
15.
Yes.
Wow, that's a lot.
I don't know if they're, full-blooded siblings.
Could be, it could be a blended family.
I don't know. Yeah. Okay. But it's a very, very, very large family. I don't know about the money part though at all.
Okay. Would it surprise you to hear that she stole money? That first mugshot was like a theft for $2,500. We don't know what that was.
Theft was from, I think she stole at the loan store.
Yeah,
you guys worked at.
She did. Yes. She did get fired for speculation.
That happened at work.
It was never. I don't think it was never proven though that she actually did, but that is the reason why they did fire her, was because they believe that she did steal money.
But you were gone from there.
Yeah, I was gone from there. I only heard that from other old coworkers.
I want to get a personality. Can I ask a personality question, Jay? Like just before, like the personality. Did you have lunch with her? Did you like when you say your friends? Was it coworkers? You visited her there, or did you guys like hang out?
Oh, he said they hung out 3-4 times a week.
Yeah, we hung out. Yeah.
Oh,
Had
I
Thanksgiving
must have
together.
missed it. Okay, so it was. You knew
They had a pretty
everything
good
about
friendship,
her.
I would say. Yeah.
That's crazy. And
I
so
have a
did-
question.
Yeah.
I know, Jake, you had told me that you met Heidi once or twice before. How was that encounter? And like her relationship with Megan, did they seem okay when you guys hung out the couple times?
Yeah, I mean, I know that they've been best friends for at least 20 years. So, they've met, whatever the couple of times that I met Heidi, it was always just quick. It was never like we were just hanging out all night or anything. So, and even in those times, I mean, they were close. I mean, you would think they were sisters. It was just very natural and like, oh my goodness, like, how are you? Always so happy to see each other and talk. So, even thinking about the couple of times that I did meet Heidi, she was also very bubbly, happy, living life and just excited for the future, just like as Megan was. So, it's
Did you ever meet
how this is
Shane?
No.
No.
I didn't even know who Shane was until Friday.
So when you met Heidi, what was the circumstance? What were you guys doing?
I believe one of them was my birthday, I want to say. And she stopped by real quick. I think to pick up something. So it was always just kind of the couple of times I did meet her, it was
In
just kind of like
passing.
a whole in and out, yeah, like an in passing type thing. So
It really seems like Megan has gone through a massive transformation in the last year on many levels, not
Yeah.
only physically, but, her friendship and this whole, I mean, it just is mind boggling.
That felony arrest will do that. Like you get a felon, you get convicted of a felony, that'll change your life overnight for people to try to get jobs, try to, all that stuff. So getting fired from a job for stealing money, whether she was,
It sounds like she was on a downward spiral, to be honest with you. It really does.
Yeah.
It sounds like something got out of control and she was
cocaine's cocaine costs a little bit of money.
Yeah, it's very expensive.
Yeah.
It's very expensive.
So
Now, did
It's
you
a-
know Megan as a wedding planner? Because she
Oh,
had,
yes, good question.
Teresa's friend said she was a wedding
Yes.
planner.
yeah, she was if I remember correctly, she was a full-time wedding planner before she was at the payday loan place. And even when I was friends with her, she would still kind of do it like on the side. But most of the time with the planning stuff, it was mostly just for like birthdays. And, the one thing that I really remember is she planned out her niece's birthday party, and for months beforehand. So, she was a wonderful wedding planner, or just a planner in general. I mean, for my 21st birthday, she went all out for me.
It's crazy. What made her stop doing the wedding planning and go to a payday loan company? Did she ever say?
No.
Hmm.
I honestly, I never even really thought of it, only because I knew she was still kind of doing it while she was working at the
Yeah,
payday
it's
loan
just kind of
place.
interesting.
It just
like if-
wasn't her full-time gig anymore.
Yeah, it's just
So I'm not
interesting
sure
because if you're
why.
successful at that, it doesn't seem like you would stop that to go work for someone else,
Right. Yeah.
And so was her
I don't know.
family local? Because you said she did the party for her niece. I mean, I'm just wondering if she had a lot of family close by that it would have been obvious to them if she was or wasn't pregnant prior to this.
I believe some of her family is local. I want to say like some of her family is also in other states. I don't know where, but I know for sure that some of them are local.
And people she would hang out with or spend holidays with that would
Mhm.
see her regularly.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Okay.
would say.
Because I'd heard, and the internet rumors fly, but you try to piece together fact and fiction, and people are saying that, somebody in her family said that they never knew her to be pregnant. They never saw her pregnant. So.
Well, how
Now
active
has
was she on
Chris-
social media? Was she active on social media? Were y'all friends or Facebook, anything like that?
Doesn't have a Facebook.
What's funny is earlier today, because I knew we were friends on Facebook, so I tried to look her up under my friends list, and she did come up, but her Facebook is deactivated. So, and Facebook gave me like the prompt whether to remove the friend or just stay there. And I'm like, well, I'm just gonna keep you there just for a second, you know.
So she was on Facebook, but it's you haven't been paying attention. You didn't even. She just popped up in your Facebook feed and you saw a picture, so you hadn't been talking to her, but she was your friend. But
so you
now,
don't know when she deactivated, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea. I
Gotcha.
know she wasn't really active on Facebook,
Okay.
like sharing stuff or anything like that. Like I know she had a Facebook and I have her on Snapchat still as well.
Wow.
But other than that, she really, wasn't really like a social media type person.
Gotcha.
So another question, Jake. Now that you're back in Houston, right? And it sounds like you still talk to high school friends. Do you talk to anybody who still was in Megan's life? Do you still have any friends that knew her that, still talk to her?
A close friend of mine did talk to her for a little while, even after that I moved, but it was kind of the same. So, kind of disconnecting as well. They never hung out as often as when I lived here. So I guess I kind of want to say it spiraled a little bit there too. From she kind of grew distant from everybody. I would say.
She had a different lifestyle than she had when she was friends with you. So she probably just shut down those friendships. Not really realizing it, but doing it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I think so.
What was the other? I had another question about mutual friends. So you just have the one mutual friend together through work.
Yep. And the three of us were coworkers.
So I can't imagine a lot of the coworkers would still be talking to her if she got fired. That's kind of embarrassing to be known that that you stole.
And you said you'd met Chad, or not Chad, Chris, and what they dated. You said they dated, but you didn't know the status of their relationship at the moment. But when you back a couple years ago, they were dating.
Yeah.
And how did they seem together?
Perfectly happy.
Normal.
Like they were, they're totally normal.
The reports are that she really kind of tried to dig into this case the last 7 days. I don't know if you know this or not, but she reached out to Chrissa. She reached out to this investigator, Tim, that does Texas Equisearch, and she spent almost an hour on the phone with him, and she was talking with Chris every day.
She was really trying to get details of what was going on with this case.
And they said that she's she was real calm and collective and concerned. They had no idea.
Yeah, she was saying that she was telling everyone how sick she was over what's going on. And she was calling Caressa every day. And
so when you now that we've told you that, and you think about the woman you knew and then the woman that we have in front of us now, I know that it's just kind of setting in and stuff like that, but is there anything that hindsight's 2020? Is there anything that over those 2 years there's there was this one time or whatever? Is there anything like that that's come to mind or anything like that? Nothing, just blank.
Nothing. Completely nothing. And I've been asked that question so many times in the past couple of days, and every time that I'm asked, I cannot think of anything because she was just nothing.
I'm sure you've re-racked your brain over and over.
Yeah.
Was this on your mind the whole flight? Were you thinking about this on your flight?
The whole entire flight.
I bet you did.
The whole entire flight. I'm I try to that's why I really haven't been on Facebook either, is because I'm trying to know fact from fiction because there's just so much speculation going on the actual story. So, it's just there's so much information coming out but also so many theories, and I'm just really just trying to get my facts straight, but the whole entire flight here I was trying to think of just anything, even if it was just a tiny like little body gesture, and it was like nothing.
Does she have an anger? Did you ever see her mad?
No, she never got angry. Ever.
Never fought with her. You guys never got into like a little friends, like just mad at each other for a little bit.
Nope,
man, that's
not at all.
I mean, it's insightful. It's so insightful because we see a mugshot, we hear a story about a missing woman and a missing baby, and then all of a sudden the news comes out, and so we all have these preconceived ideas about who Megan is, and so to hear you talk about her is so genuine. First of all, and thank you for doing this. By the way, I hadn't said that, but I want to thank you for doing this because people are starting to fall in love with Heidi, and it does show something when you'll come on and talk about Megan and be respectful to her. You've been nothing but respectful to her, and so it's awesome. So thanks again. But I mean, this isn't over. I'm just thanking you. So
yeah.
Jake, do you think that you would talk to Megan again? Have you thought about that at all? Like,
I don't know.
Kind of soon for that, maybe. You haven't digested all of this yet.
Yeah, it's still kind of processing. And I don't want, I'm not in any way, shape, or form, defending her or anything, because what she did, proven guilty or not, what she did, what she was involved in is definitely wrong, completely out of the water, evil, downright.
We got you.
But in my heart,
yeah, that was your friend.
In my heart, she is my friend. So I'm not going to defend her, but at the same time, I'm not going to trash talk her.
Right.
So
and I respect that, Jake.
I'm just here to give the facts and give insight on what she was beforehand, because that's why I honestly think that's why it's such a shock to me, is because I don't want to believe it, because it's not her to me.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. No,
that totally makes sense, Jake. Totally. I mean, it's going to take you a while to even process that you knew this person. Because you probably look at her mugshot and go, I don't even know who that is. Like, I don't even know that girl.
That's exactly.
That's
I looked
not
at
my friend.
it so many times on the plane, and I'm like, I just don't want to believe it's actually her at all. But I know it's her.
Completely messes with your mind. I mean, it's just
yeah. So we can imagine,
it's a complete mind-boggling moment.
We can imagine like what her family must be thinking. I mean, if you're affected, you had a friendship with her. I mean, imagine how her parents feel. How that's going to be to accept that their daughter did that.
It's heartbreaking on both sides. Because I can't imagine what her parents and family feel like. I can't imagine what Heidi's family feels like, and it breaks my heart, because knowing both of them, Megan more, yes, but meeting Heidi, even if it's just for 10 minutes this whole entire time,
you'll never forget that 10 minutes that you met her. Now,
never.
What do you know about Megan's childhood coming up? Did you guys ever talk about where you're not where you're from, but where what kind of life you had, what kind of family you had growing up? She had a big family. Did she ever tell you any crazy stories with the 10 siblings and stuff like that?
Nothing that I can really think of right now. I know we have talked about it, but that was like forever ago.
Like, did you get the feeling that she was
I don't want to
close?
tell a story and not have it be correct.
Bro, no, I
respect that.
I respect that.
Did you get the feeling that she was close with her family? I mean, she's close with her niece. She was, spent a lot of time, did the birthday party for her niece. So it sounds like she had a close knit family. I mean, that's what I would assume from that.
Yeah, I'm from what I perceived, and knowing some stories about her family, I believe that she was close with almost everybody, I would say. So
a 10-person family, I mean, you might have a fight with a brother and sister here and there, but you're probably pretty close growing up, crawling all over each other, I
wonder, do you know what order in the what birth order she is? Was she the baby?
I have no idea. I couldn't tell you.
Okay. I had to ask Jake.
That's a great question.
Maybe somewhere in the middle, but
yeah.
Yeah, I just
wondered. They need that for their psych eval later.
The oldest versus youngest makes a big difference.
I'm always interested
Yeah.
in birth order. Birth order like fascinates me because there are certain traits of, you know, the middle
Mhm.
child and the oldest child and the
I
baby.
was just about to say, usually, you know, there's always the whole, like, well, the middle child's always the troubled child. So,
They're always fighting for the attention. They are.
yeah.
I have a middle child and yes. But yeah, I mean, having that many siblings, I know families that have, you know, that many kids and those kids pitch in. You know, the older ones help take care of the younger ones. It's just how they do it. You know,
Yeah.
they're just raised that way. So it kind of surprised me when you said that she was adamant that she didn't want children, because usually people who come from big families like that, it's a given. You know, they want to have, they're used to, you know, holding babies and they know how to do all that stuff because they were raised
Yeah.
that way. So that surprised me when you said that. And I often wonder if maybe this didn't maybe stem from maybe a jealousy standpoint, because it doesn't sound like this girl has longed for a baby for years and years and years, you know? So it's
Yeah.
nuts.
To me, it kind of sounds like maybe it was a jealousy thing. I do know probably the biggest theory that's out there is, you know, maybe, you know, her and Chris's relationship was going downhill. So, you know, maybe she faked a
She was
pregnancy in
trying
order
to,
to keep him
to
there.
trap him.
You know, that whole
Happens a
kind of
lot.
story type. So
Happens a
I
lot.
don't know
Just
for
most
sure.
people don't take their best friend's baby and did.
Yeah. I mean,
Insane.
I don't understand the whole why Heidi, and you know, I know I don't want it to sound horrible, but like, why Heidi, your best friend of 20 plus years, than a stranger?
Because
That
we've heard
never,
stories like this with strangers.
yeah,
Ever
that's what
hear
I'm
of
saying. Like,
best
it doesn't
friend?
make sense to me that you would do it to your best friend when, you know, a stranger could be going through the same exact thing, but you choose your best friend. I don't know. Maybe it's because
Opportunity, maybe?
exactly, you know,
Yeah.
because Heidi would be willing,
Yeah,
you know,
she wouldn't
to
kick and
go anywhere
scream.
with her
Yeah.
because they've known each other for 20 years, you know.
Yeah, but
So
this isn't
that's
just.
my,
Yeah, that's
you know,
crazy.
I don't know though. I wish I knew,
Well,
but
it's
that's
odd,
just my
Jake,
thought.
because we found a post on Facebook Marketplace from January where she was selling a crib, a baby crib. So we're not sure, and we don't know, you know, if it was a real picture, if it was really her crib, or maybe she was trying to bait someone, because we've heard of that happening on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
These women seek out these pregnant girls. But she did have a listing of a white baby crib. It was bizarre because it was just this past January. So
That is
that's why
weird.
we were all wondering, did she get pregnant and lose the baby and, you know, kind of snap and lose her mind? But as far as you know,
Right.
she didn't get pregnant, but you don't know that for certain.
Yeah, as
'Cause you
far
haven't
as I
talked to
know,
her.
I have no idea. Yeah,
Yeah.
no idea.
Wow. Crazy. Jake, you know, I just want to say, like, I'm sorry this is your friend that did this. I can't imagine how that feels to know that someone you hung out with, and you hung out in that house. So here you have this visual of what the hell went on in that house, you know. And did she have that
Literally
Nissan too?
Yeah, I mean, she's had that Nissan for as long as I can remember. So,
Really?
you know, yeah, and it's just so weird because from the minute I saw that first post on Facebook, and then the following 2 hours after that, you know, then I saw the helicopter footage of them, you know, over the house, and then her car backed up to the door, which was very weird. And then, you know, her sitting there with what looked like maybe like a trooper or a sheriff, whatever, and Heidi's
That
body
was
in
really
that
weird.
car right there. Like,
Right
it's
there.
just so weird. And knowing, because I've been on that porch, and it made me make my like skin crawl, because
gonna,
I
like,
know
haunt
you.
exactly
It's-
what that area looks like,
Yeah.
and knowing that I was there at one point and now it's a crime scene,
It's mind blowing.
it's a lot. Yeah, it really threw me for a loop.
Have you talked to any of your other friends, or have you discussed this with people that knew Megan? Like, you call them and you go, "Did you hear Megan's news?" The news. Have you talked to any of your other co-friends or anything like that?
Yeah, I've spoken to the other close friend that was coworkers with us a little bit about it, and she has a picture with Megan from 2016, I think, from when they went to the river in San Antonio, I want to say, and it was just a normal selfie.
Just
She was driving and Megan was in the passenger seat, and they're both smiling. So
what
it's
was
just
kind of
weird.
was y'all's thoughts like when you called or when y'all two connected and talked about it, with the both of you having such not intimate but a close relationship with her, you know, I mean, just that's like you said, a third, y'all hung out together. Um,
Mhm.
Anything? I mean, I just feel like 2 years might be a long or quick road to go down if she like went off from what you're saying, a normal life, and then this decision that seems as far from normal or as far from like sane, and so
Mhm.
yeah, it's
I mean, the
crazy.
both of us had the same reaction. Was
Yeah.
like, is this real? Like, what the hell, really? Like,
Mm.
this just get like we both had literally the same reaction. Like, even now, like talking about it and talking to you guys, I really feel like this isn't real. Like,
I bet.
are we really talking about this right now?
Is this really Megan? Right.
Yeah.
Can you tell us
Like,
about
yeah,
the
like it kind of feels like almost kind of like an out of body experience.
Yeah, and it probably will for a while. It probably will for a while.
You said something earlier, and you can just say, "Hey, I don't want to talk about it." But you said that you knew that she was into some drug use with cocaine and stuff. How,
Mhm.
can I ask you how you knew that, or like had you seen that personally? Her get into that stuff?
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah, she did it in front of me a couple of times.
gotcha.
Can you
Um,
tell us about like what the inside of the house was like? Was it neat? Was it I mean,
Yeah, it was neat. I mean, just besides the normal, like messy dishes from cooking and laundry, like nothing, just looked
nothing
like a
out of the
normal
ordinary,
house.
nothing where it was neglected,
Nope,
nothing like that.
nothing at
Wow.
all. I mean, the garage was messy, but it was only,
Everybody's
there was just a
garage
whole
is
bunch of stuff in there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
it
the
wasn't
Don't open my
catch-all.
storage, it
garage
was for
door.
storage.
no comment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me ask you one more question about the drug use. Was that something that you watched her get into, or was that kind of something you always knew that she was involved in at one level or another?
I
As
always
far as
knew.
cocaine.
Yeah, I was about to say, as far as the marijuana, I always knew about that, but the I want to say maybe the last couple of times I hung out with her, she had just brought it out and did it, and I was like, oh, okay. Like, I did not know that. She didn't even say anything. It was just she just kind of did
Oh wow.
it. So yeah,
Just like
I mean, it shocked
nonchalant, like
me, but at the same time, I'm just like, okay, you do you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to get into like your beliefs on all that. I'm just trying to figure out like if that was her downfall, like if she just kind of
right.
she went from cocaine to not. It could have been anything. She definitely looks like she's gained weight, but
I've known people though that have done cocaine and
yeah,
have gained weight actually.
yeah. But I think
Surprisingly enough, but yeah.
depending
Yeah.
on what she was doing as far as work, like I said, she might have gone to other drugs that were cheaper, um, just the occasional or the recreational cocaine user isn't, kidnapping, women and trying to pass off babies as their own and stuff. So like, cause that's
This is
kind of how
beyond that. Yeah.
yeah, like it's such a weird thing. And so to have you here, man, and just tell us about a pretty average, normal, you know,
Was she pretty
woman.
outgoing? Was she pretty outgoing and fun?
Yeah, she would talk to anybody. She'd talk to a stranger and be like, "Hey, how's your day going?"
That makes
She
sense,
was
though.
that
That,
type
that
of
makes
person.
sense.
Hmm.
Because she just
Wow.
called Carissa out of the blue. She just called that Tim guy out of the blue. So that makes sense how she was staying in contact.
Comfortable.
And those are the only two interviews we've actually heard from people that talked to Megan. It is probably, in my opinion, she probably talked to a lot of people, and those people just
She was
haven't done.
fishing
Yeah.
for info. Yeah.
Yeah, she was fishing
Mhm.
for major info. So you're in Houston right now. right?
Yeah, I just got
Just
here
got
like
in,
3
just got
hours
in.
ago.
I mean,
Well,
yeah,
welcome home.
to be honest with you, this is
Thank you.
probably the biggest story both in Houston area and in the Austin area. It's kind of tied together right now. Have any talk from locals? You know, if you just got home, did your family? What do they think about you coming on here doing this podcast, talking about your friend and stuff?
Well, we were just at dinner, and obviously I was originally supposed to come on at 8:30, but they wanted to take me out to dinner.
We let
and
you eat first, Jake.
Yeah, I told Melissa, I was like, it's probably gonna have to be a little bit later because I'm probably not gonna.
We got a
finish in
late
time.
night crowd. We got a late night
Yeah.
crowd. Don't
This
you
is
worry
early
about
for
that.
us, Jake.
This is
Yeah.
beta stuff. Don't you worry about that.
Yeah, I'll probably be up for hours after this too.
Oh, I'm
so.
sure. I'm sure.
So you got home with your family. What was your family's reaction? I ain't gonna let you slide out of that question that easy. So how'd the family kind of think?
Well, when I first texted my family in the group text, like, hey, like, do you guys remember Megan? And they were kind of like, oh, like, not really, because Megan never really came over here. I always went over there.
Okay.
So they were like, oh, not really. So I sent a screenshot of the first post that I saw, and I was like, she murdered somebody. And my mom was like, she's like, oh, I've been following that story for like a week. And I'm like, and you didn't tell me?
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
And now it's
Wow.
just like full circle, like, oh my gosh.
Oh.
It makes
Jake,
it real. Yeah, it makes it
What
real.
month did you move? Do you remember? And you said you left in 2017 when you moved away and kind of lost contact.
I moved March of 2017.
Okay,
Now,
but
why
so then
did
you
you
kept in
lose
contact with
contact?
her.
Wait, hold on.
So you moved in March, but then you kept in contact with her, you said, through the end of 2017 before she kind of broke that off?
Yeah. It was sporadic after I moved. But then like the end of 2017 was really when it just kind of fully disconnected. So.
Right. And I'm just trying to piece together in my mind, like, was she, kind of debasing and like, going down at what point? So.
Yeah, it was, like the first couple months after I moved, it was, every other day that we talked. And then just as the year went on, it was maybe like once a week. And then it was like once every 2-3 weeks. And then it was like once every 2 months. And then it just stopped.
Yeah. And that's not
So,
necessarily.
I tried to reach out, but, most of the time I would just never really get a response. So
We have a lot of people commenting in chat, and they're saying things as if they know Megan. So if those things that you're saying, there's someone in particular here, Miss Texas. If you want to email me at jisforjustice@gmail.com, I'd be willing to hear you out. But like when you just throw things up in chat, no one really knows if it's legit, So if you knew Megan and you're in chat and you'd be willing to talk to me, send me an email at jisforjustice@gmail.com, or you can go on Facebook to the Facebook page and message me on the J is for Justice Facebook page.
Yeah, Jay, why don't you recap just so people running into this midstream?
Yeah, for the people just joining, we have Magen Fieramusca. I think I'm saying that correctly. We have a friend of hers from her past that used to work with her, co-worker. They got pretty close. They hung out several times a week, and he's been to the house where Megan was living with Chris. He's met Chris. He's met Heidi in passing. And all in all, we have to say that Jake is pretty much in shock at this moment. He can't believe that someone he knew would be the one on the news that did this. He said she's pretty normal. I mean, normal girl. They had fun. They hung out. I mean, just like friends and coworkers do. Nothing out of the ordinary. It's crazy. It's just crazy.
Yeah, but it makes sense. It does make sense. That's how she would have been with Heidi, and that's how she would have been with everybody.
Now, she was in a relationship with Chris then the whole time you knew her. So there was like no other, dating someone else. She was pretty hot and heavy with Chris.
Right. Well,
I don't know why I said hot and heavy, but they were in a relationship, right? They weren't dating other people.
Her and Chris only got together probably maybe 5 to 6 months before I moved. So before that, Megan was single. She wasn't seeing anybody. She was just doing whatever she wanted. So from the time that I met her, so probably up until mid 2016, she was single, and then her and Chris met kind of, I think maybe the end of summer going into fall of 2016, and then before I moved, I knew they were a couple. That's for a fact, like they were together. And a lot of people say that they weren't. I mean, they might have maybe split up after the fact, but I don't know. But I definitely know at that moment in time that they were together.
How did Megan and Chris meet?
Good question.
Yeah, that's a good question. I want to say maybe Tinder, but I don't really remember.
Did Megan have any hobbies or anything that you like that she did on the regular that you can think of?
Not that I remember. No.
Okay, so she was
really.
kind of a work and just kind of work, survive, go out. I mean, did y'all go out like in the evenings, partying, clubs, or anything like that? Did y'all hang out in the nightlife in Houston area?
That would happen every so often, but a lot of the times it was just hang out, drink at home, board games, beer pong, stuff like that.
Gotcha.
I know, like when she had spare time, I know she was a wedding planner, so she loved doing that. So I know in her spare time, even at work, sometimes she would do some stuff for planning, but other than that, really.
Yeah. She ever crashed a wedding with her? She ever invite you to a wedding that she had planned or anything?
No.
Just...
No, I didn't get to experience that.
Gotcha.
Now, did you ever see her get angry at anything, or easily get irritated, or see a weird change in her at all?
Nope. I know, like, I mean, she would obviously get maybe irritated and agitated, about something, but she would never be hot-headed, like yelling or anything like that. She would just keep a very cool level, just kind of let it go and just move on with her life type.
Right. Now, did you know if Chris ever wanted a baby, or did he ever mention wanting a baby?
No, I don't think he mentioned anything at all. Like I said, Megan, the whole time I knew her, she never wanted a baby.
Right.
So I don't know about Chris.
No, you said that she pulled out those drugs when you were the coke, when you were right there, and like kind of took you by surprise. Was he there? Was he doing that with her?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Jake, I have kind of a personal question. Everybody wants to ask it, but they're too afraid. So I'm gonna do it. Did Megan ever show any interest in females?
No, not at all.
Never?
Nope.
Okay. Thank you
Not
for
at all.
answering that. Thank you. I
You're
just want to,
welcome.
I want to squash anything. I mean, there's just a lot of things that are being swirled around, and ooh, I've got. You hear that thunder, you guys?
Oh, I did hear that. That's great.
Was that
Florida.
one?
Oh yeah,
my goodness.
Florida. We have a lot of lightning and thunder.
Y'all stick with us. If her power drops, we'll be back. We ain't going nowhere. Jake. Oh, dang it! I
hate when that happens.
I lost that one. I lost.
All right,
Sorry.
I got one.
I
Do
lost.
you know why she divorced her first husband? What happened with that?
No idea.
I can
No
kind of
idea.
answer
I don't
that
know much
actually.
about that marriage.
I can kind of answer that. I did get a message from her ex-sister-in-law.
Okay.
And yeah,
does.
it was
Hey.
it was it was a short marriage, and I think it was only a couple years, and they got married in Vegas. So, it just sounds like they were young and it didn't work out from what I understood. But I'm working on more info from that too. So, but yeah, I mean,
Are
funny.
they legally divorced though? Because she still has that name.
If you're legally divorced and you keep you don't change your name back, I mean, you can keep whatever name. So if she
It's a separate
divorced him and
process.
she just never went through the process of changing it, she would still have his name. Yeah.
Well, I just find it odd that she kept it, being in a new relationship with Chris, obviously
I think so
wanting
too.
a baby with him. I mean,
I think so too. It's interesting because, a lot of women will keep it when they have kids because they want the same last name as their children.
Right.
But, to have like a young, like, oh, we reacted and we got married by Elvis in Vegas and it didn't work out after a couple years, to keep that name. It is a little strange, but.
Hey, Jake, there's a question, and you probably wouldn't know because unless it was just random. Was there any way you might think about there's a second suspect? Maybe is there anybody else that we haven't maybe talked about? We talked about Carissa, but that's about it. Is there any of Megan's friends that you knew she was close to around Houston? Because
like high school friends
Yeah.
or people that she introduced you to when you
Or was
guys
there-
hung out.
Is there a
besides
third?
Megan?
Because Heidi and her were close at some point. I don't know how recent they had actually hung out, but at some point they were hanging out together, taking pictures. Was there ever any third women out there, or a third person that they hung out with together?
Yeah,
that
like
you
did they
know
have a little
about?
group?
Yeah.
No, not that I know of. No.
Okay.
So Heidi was kind of her main person that she connected with.
Yeah.
You didn't ever stop with Meg, like when you were hanging out with Megan, you stopped at Heidi's house a couple of times. You don't remember it. It's probably hard to think through that because it's been a couple of years, like you said, but there's nobody else that sticks out your mind. Oh yeah, we hung out over here a lot, or Chris's
No, not
house.
at all.
Gotcha.
How come you completely, after you moved, I mean, did you think you would still keep in touch with her? I mean, how did all communication stop?
I honestly, I don't know because I always tried to reach out. I don't know, maybe if she was just busy with work at the time, or maybe maybe she was having personal problems or anything like that. So once the couple of times that I've reached out and just never got an answer, or was a very
And then
late
it just
reply,
gradually.
I just yeah.
And
Just lost
Yeah,
touch.
because she
just kind of
obviously changed over a course of the few years of you knowing her. I mean, physically, mentally. So
No,
something must
the
have
whole
had
time that I knew
happened.
her, she was always the same. Same hair, same body type, same makeup every day. It was always, she was very consistent in her personality and her looks, and nothing ever major, drastic changes, nothing.
Yeah, something happened.
She threw you a big party. You said she put your party together.
Hmm. My 21st birthday. Yeah.
Your 21st birthday. Is there any what's your favorite moment that you remember? What's your favorite memory? I don't know if you've thought about this since now that you found this out, but do you have a memory of like was your favorite time with her?
Yeah. So my 21st birthday, she planned it all out, planning her thing. So, she threw me a party at her place, not the house, her other place at that time. And it was, inappropriately themed. We shall deem it that way.
This is what we
So
wanted to know. This is
yeah. So
Mhm.
the best moment of that was she made a very inappropriate looking cake, and that was probably the best part because you cut into it and it kind of did a thing, and it was just hilarious. That's like probably my favorite memory.
That's a memory that you got of her. I mean, she made you a cake, an inappropriate cake. That's how close y'all were.
Yeah.
Now, also, I want to know, I know you only met Heidi twice or so. Did Megan ever talk about her a lot? Did she seem jealous of her or anything like that?
No, not really. Not at all.
Hmm.
And that's the odd part to me, because I would think, with knowing how close they were and how long they knew each other, that we would hang out. Maybe, she would say something or whatever, but she rarely even mentioned her unless it was those couple of times that, she came by, or, she called her on the phone or anything like that. So it was never anything like obsessive or anything like that.
Do you think she had any pressure from her family or her sisters? Maybe giving her a hard time because she didn't want kids, or that she should have kids. I mean, coming from a big family, I could see that because I'm part of a big family and I have a lot of sisters, and I could see that being something that would be said, like, what do you mean you don't want kids? And did she have any pressure that way? Did you hear of from her?
I don't think so, only because I know she was the kind of person to kind of be like, you don't tell me what to do. I do what I want with my life, and I'm going to do it that way. So she was
Okay.
always that type of person.
Jade, do you know if Megan was close with Heidi's family? Like, did she ever tell you, like, oh my God, I've known this girl since church camp when we were teens, and like, is it was she close with the family? Do you know?
I want to say yes, but I'm not 100% sure she actually was. I'm probably the wrong person to ask that question.
That's okay if you're not sure. It's fine.
But yeah, I don't know. I want to say so. But
if you knowing Megan, you would think yes. If you had to guess.
Did Megan talk to her mom around you, or do you remember like being with Megan and her being in communication with her mom or family or any of her siblings? Does that ever ring a bell? Like you were with her and she's ringing with the sister or brother, mom?
Not that I remember right off the top of my head.
Like you spent 3 days a week with their time, but never got, hey, this is my mom calling. Something that's, did it happen and you just don't remember? Or
well, yeah, I know she would talk to one of her brothers. A lot more often than other siblings.
Okay.
But other than that, I don't really think I even met any of her family. So
you never met any of her. Do they all live in that area? Did you know that or not? Or you even know?
I have no idea. I know she has some family locally, and I believe she has some family in other states and maybe other areas of Texas, but I'm not 100% sure.
Gotcha.
Now, if she ever tried to reach out to you,
like
just
after I moved,
or maybe no, I'm saying in the future. If she were ever to reach out to you and maybe say, can you come visit me, or I need a friend, would you be willing to do that?
I don't know if I can answer that, to be honest. I don't know.
It's kind of the same, like if you'd ever talk to her or send her a letter, or that's something that's probably not going to hit you for quite some time. I'm just saying, because I speak from experience. A drunk driver actually took out one of my best friends and 4 of her children. And it took me I always wanted to write him. He was a young guy, 23 years old when it happened. And I always wanted to write him. I thought about it. And then just one day after years, it hit me. Like I just wanted to reach out. And I kind of think of it the same way for you. Like you're going to have to process all this stuff that you're going to hear about her. You're going to go through a trial probably and hear all this stuff. And then once that you absorb that, then I think you'll be able to go back and think, okay, that was my friend at one time. Like, girl, what happened to you between then and now? You know what I mean? Yeah. I think your curiosity when you think about your friend might drive you to do that when you're ready.
Yeah, I mean, it even does now, only because I don't know. I'm pretty sure no one really knows what happened in that time frame, from when the last time that we spoke until now. And that drives me crazy because I just want to know what happened. I don't care what it was. Maybe, it was, people have said maybe she had a miscarriage or anything like that. Or if it literally just went crazy, I don't know, but I want to know. And at the same time, I want to reach out, but I don't, because I feel like I may come off wrong to her, and I don't want to. Because, obviously I still care about her, but I don't think I can have the right state of mind to ask that in a very appropriate way, without coming off like, what the F are you doing? Like, why? I think if maybe some point in the future, maybe.
Yeah. And you'll figure that out as time goes on, and you process it. But if you had to categorize her, as girls are categorized as girly girls, or, kind of hippie-ish, or, what would you categorize Megan as?
probably a mix of like a hippie tomboy.
Okay.
Well,
So she's always been a little
she's never-
tomboyish.
Yeah, she was
Okay.
never really the whole like dress, high heels, all that kind of stuff, you know.
Right. Because she looks a little tomboyish in the mugshot. Now, the prior one,
Yeah.
you know, she was real thin and you could, I mean, who knows? I mean, it's a mugshot. Not everybody's going to be done up. But yeah, she came off to me as, you know, kind of a tomboy. But you know, she's big now. So yeah, it just,
Yeah,
Didn't you say she always
I've
had her
never
makeup
seen her
done?
that big. Never seen her that
yeah,
big.
yeah.
She would she barely wear makeup. Even when she
Oh.
did, it would just kind of be very
Like,
minimal.
But she was consistent is what you meant.
Yeah.
Like consistently she looked the same every day. It wasn't like you saw her one day like,
Yeah.
oh my God, Megan's a freaking wreck today. Like it was consistent. Nothing ever went on, you know, your radar never went
Yeah,
off.
no, the easiest way to explain it is she always looked the same. Never anything drastic. You know, she came in with purple hair and full on makeup, nothing. Always the same.
and what you saw in her mugshot from 2018 is how you knew her. That didn't look out of abnormal to you, or was it a change?
She looked maybe a little bit thinner and a little bit
Okay.
more alert, I guess.
With the
But
eyes.
that's pretty much how I knew her. You know, her hair was always the same color.
Was she religious? Like I know Krista met her at a church camp. Did you ever know of her going to church, or did she involved in any church stuff?
No, not at all.
No, not at all.
I don't even really think she was spiritual at all. I think she was just more of kind of, you know, this
Day
is
to
life
day.
and this is how, yeah.
She didn't have any. She never told you anything. Y'all didn't never talk spiritual stuff or any of that. She didn't do. You couldn't remember any hobbies. Did she do yoga, workout? She go to the gym or anything like that? Nothing.
Not really.
Not really.
No. Not that I can remember.
Yeah.
Jake, when you heard that she was fired from your old job for stealing, what was your thought? Like what did you think when you heard that? Like, oh my God, Megan stole this $2,500 or whatever. What were your thoughts?
I couldn't even really believe that.
You were
'Cause I wouldn't
shocked.
think she would ever steal from anybody.
Did you wonder why she stole from work?
Not really. I was just more of like, why would you do that? But at the same time, like, well, I mean,
So it didn't make
No,
you
it's-
think, oh man, maybe she's like heavily into the drugs. You didn't feel
No, I didn't.
alarmed.
no, I feel like I should have, but it was more
Well,
of
now
like,
it's hindsight.
you know, yeah, but now I'm just kind of, I guess at that time I was just kind of like, you know, did she really do that? Like, because, you know, I never thought she would
Was
at all.
Chris a manly man? Was he who wore the pants in that relationship that you saw? Like who kind of ran things?
They
in that
probably shared the pants. It just depended on the day.
just depending on the day.
Yeah.
So what kind of guy is he? Did he, you know, were they respectful? Did you ever see anything between them? Were they lovey-dovey, touchy, or were they pretty anything around you?
They were pretty just fairly a normal couple. I mean, you know, they would have, you know, those lovey-dovey moments, you know, hold hands and kiss and whatever, but you know, everything seemed very mutual and genuine. You know, he seemed very down to earth and just straightforward, you know, pretty much just like her, you know.
Was she a
very just-
drinker? Did she drink a lot? Did you like blackout drunk or drunk anything like that? Nothing.
No, I mean, we you know, we would drink, but really her thing was weed.
Yeah, just smoke the weed. Nice.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, man. So Chris was pretty average guy, average Joe guy, average family. I mean, average kind of he didn't have any kids or anything that you knew about, right? They had
Not that I
a
know of.
separate kid, other kids, or another. I don't know his background at all. So, I just wondered kind of how that.
What does Chris do for a living? Do we know that?
That I don't even know that.
I believe he was out of town though. That's what we do know. So.
Oh, he would leave for work to go. But we don't know what he was doing.
No. I'm sure that wouldn't take any one of 1,000 people online here. Hey, thank you guys for hanging with us tonight. If you're, we haven't been really nailing chat today, been really talking with Jake, but man, thank you guys for coming and hanging out with us tonight.
Yeah, I'm trying to read chat right now, but it's kind of hard to keep up with. It's moving.
Man, the chat's moving.
Yeah, you really drew in a crowd tonight, Jake.
Hey, Jake, I want to tell you something. I don't know if you know the magnitude of people go missing all the time. There's crime happening in every state right now, but the world is watching Heidi's case, and the world is intrigued by this story of the best friend who for all we can see, kidnapped them and stuff. So thank you, man. Thank you a lot, because the world's watching, and being able to know just a little bit more about her and just hear that is, I know they very much appreciate it. I don't know if you can actually, you can't see the YouTube live because you're doing it from your phone, but there is just thousands of people just engaging.
And Jake, I have received quite a few emails. So if you could get my number from Melissa and text me, I'll forward these messages to you.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Does anybody have any other
question?
Go ahead.
Okay. You said she had a Snapchat, correct? Were you friends with her on there?
Yep, still am.
Now, up until this happened, did she still have it? Did she post anything, like any snaps of a baby?
No, she rarely ever even used Snapchat.
So she just kind of had it.
What about Instagram?
Just kind of had it. No, she never had an Instagram, I don't think.
Because there's actually a couple Megan Humphrey on there, so I didn't know if one of those were her.
But she sure knew how to go online and make those registries. Yikes.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff.
Thank you
Jake,
so much.
Jake, this reminds me of a Lifetime movie.
Yes.
I know everybody laughs at me, but I think there was one with this almost exact plot, and it just doesn't even seem real. It doesn't seem real that someone can do this. So,
and it was a best friend over 4 years. I mean, who would have thought? I mean,
yeah. Now we're all going to look side eye our best friends,
Exactly.
Yeah. Yes. Really makes you think who is involved in your life, for sure.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much, Jake. It was awesome meeting you. I heard so many good things throughout the day from Melissa, and I was excited to talk to you. So he's so cute.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, it was a pleasure.
Jake. Man, thank you a lot. Thanks, bro.
You're welcome. And thanks for the invite.
You will be in our thoughts, and as the gravity of whatever, even 2 years away, you're still going to have some feelings. We'll be praying for you and thinking about you and sending positive things your way, man. So just know you're not alone, and I know Jay and the people you contacted to get here, but do not hesitate to reach out and send an email, pick up the phone if something comes, or if you have questions, if you hear a rumor and you want to find out if it's true or not, you can always message one of these girls and they will get back to you. And if you have any questions.
Well, I do want to ask one more. I don't know if this was asked. They keep bringing up the second female being arrested. Now, did she have any close female friends that you knew of?
Yeah, we tried.
Yeah, we already went over that.
Yeah. He said that there wasn't any third wheels, or he didn't remember being like
part of a crowd or anything.
He didn't stop at any other women's houses. He stopped at Heidi's a couple of times with her, but we couldn't think of any other ones. So, but thanks, man. It's informative, and
go get some rest if you can.
I'm about to go and probably knock out maybe after reading a couple more theories.
Yeah, try to rest your mind for real.
Yeah,
for real. All right, it's been a pleasure, Jake. Hope to talk to you again.
Well, before you hang up, I just wanted to give him an opportunity. If you had any questions for Jay or anyone on the panel, maybe a theory that you have now that you wanted answered, or if you had any rumors that if you came to mind. So if you had any questions for us.
No, not at all. I honestly would just ask if you see any actual news articles, please send them to me, because it's hard for me to filter through all the rumors through Facebook. So
no problem.
I don't follow that many.
We got your back,
stations,
Jake.
So
we got your back.
Send them to you. I have a I have a bunch. I can
We'll
send to
filter
you.
them through Melissa
Okay.
to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Melissa will send
perfect.
you an Excel spreadsheet filled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks again, Jake. We'll do anything for you, buddy.
Well, you're also in
Alright.
our group too on Facebook. The Heidi
Yes.
one. I think
Oh,
I added
okay.
you to that.
Yes,
All
yes, I
right.
am on that one.
Yeah, so give him my number, Melissa, so I can pass these messages on to him.
Okay, I will.
All right, cool. All right, well, thanks,
All right.
guys. Thanks, Christy, for all your insight. I love your questions. Thanks, Melissa, again, for hooking me up with Jake here, the Jakester. And thanks, D-Wop.
No.
Thank you, Jay.
Thank
Thank-
you. Thank you,
Yes,
Jake.
thank you.
Oh,
Jay, thanks for all
and
your hard
before I
work on
sign
this,
off
Jay.
here, yeah. I just want to ask everybody if you want to watch Inside Edition tomorrow night. I'm gonna have like some kind of little online on-camera interview.
Jay's gonna be on Inside Edition in everybody's living room across the country. Just know that.
I think it is
Yep.
going to be on. I saw here where I live in Chicago, 3 p.m. Central on ABC. So it's
I think
probably
it's
4
different
p.m.
everywhere.
Oh, it
Yeah.
is.
I think
thought it
so.
was the same.
I don't think so.
I think here on the West Coast, it's at noon. Inside
I
Edition.
think
is,
in
like-
Michigan, I
or
think it was
maybe
in the
1
evening.
o'clock.
So you'll have to look in your guide and see when Inside Edition is on. But oh no, I'm not making any promises, man. I've never done an on-camera interview, so this is out of my
doing one
element
now.
right now. I know, and it's out of my element. So
You don't get to ask the questions in those interviews. They're about to ask the questions.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. That's even worse. All right. All right. Well, thanks, guys, again, and I'll talk to you guys very soon.
Good night.
Okay.
Have a great
Thank
night,
you.
Jake.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, we love Jake, don't we? We love Jake. Jake's awesome. Thank you so much again, Jake, if you're still listening. A pleasure to have you on. Thank you to everybody in chat. Thank you to all the mods for deleting any comments that were unacceptable and not needed here. Thank you to all the people joining that are finding me from wherever. If you're new here tonight, let me know where you found me. I'm curious. I love this. It's exciting. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked the live tonight. If you liked this interview, give a thumbs up. And if you want to subscribe to keep in touch with me when I have new videos and new live streams, just subscribe and hit the bell. Hit the solid bell to be reminded. So everybody have a great rest of your night, and I will see you very soon, probably sooner than you think. Have a great night.